Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and this is my podcast here. I'm pretty excited about today's guest. I met today's guest at Serious Business, but before we get into that, I do want to talk a little bit about our event that's coming up on April 26th and April 27th. This is our fifth year doing Presley Poe and Friends. I'm kind of blown away that we've been doing it for 5 years, man. It's been such a love that we can share with the industry and just bring Presley in. And Presley's bringing a bunch of her babyless friends in this year. This year we have obviously Presley is headlining, and then we have the amazing M Chen that's coming in, and we have Joel Torres, Jeremy Stevens, and once again for the first time ever, we have Los Cutta who's coming in for his second year. It's an all a la carte weekend, and what that means is that we have our event Saturday night, but then Sunday we're filled with education. So basically, you come in and you just pay for the classes that you want to go to. You attend the classes that you want to go to. But another opportunity, and by the time we release this podcast, I don't even know if it's going to be available because I think we literally only have 8 tickets left for the Olaplex VIP package. And what the VIP package is you're going to get Q&A, or you'll get like table time with all of the artists before the event, and then after that you're going to get special Olaplex swag. So they're going to put together special swag for your VIP, and most importantly, as far as I'm concerned, you get front of the house seating. So we're going to reserve seats for you at the front of the house that you can sit in there. So once again, take a look at the Olaplex VIP. Again, I am not sure if they're going to be available by the time we release this podcast because we only have 8 tickets left, but we certainly have general admission tickets left for Presley Poe and Friends. Again, that's Saturday, April 26th. And then Sunday we have classes. Go to presleypoeandfriends.com. All the information is there for the classes that are available. I could do it here, but we'd be here for an hour talking about the classes and a lot of the other sponsors. We have a lot of other sponsors that have kind of jumped in this year. It just like on a personal level and like from my heart, like I'm just so thankful and grateful that people want to come to this event and that they have come to this event. And what's really crazy too is, and what makes me smile and I'm pretty proud of, is that we have a lot of return attendees. So people that have attended in the years past are keep coming back. So that tells me that we're onto something right. A little side note too is on Saturday night we only sell 150 tickets, so it's a very very small intimate room, and everybody kind of gets to hang out together. We don't take the artist off the stage and go have them disappear like you would at like premiere or something. You're going to actually have time and spend time with the artist after the event. So it's just a cool kumbaya night. Like we love celebrating the people that are in the industry, and this is a great way for us to do that, including the attendees. I mean, it's really important that we celebrate the attendees, and that's been the goal. As a 30-year hairdresser, I'm like, what would I want? Well, I would love to be able to just hang out and celebrate the hair industry without all the other stuff going on, without all the negative that can happen in a back room. We just go in with love and celebrate everyone. So with that, let's talk about our guest today. So I met our guest, sort of met our guest. I didn't officially meet him, but he was on stage at Serious Business. Again, you guys have heard me talk about this. I think this is our fifth guest from Serious Business. It's just a super unique event. It's called Serious Business. We never talked about numbers. We never talked about accounting. I don't know where the serious business part is, but it was all about like wellness and mental health and stuff. I was really blown away by it. And I was telling our guests today before we even went on that I'd go to the bathroom and I'd have FOMO. Like I'd have FOMO in the room, and I just had to get back into the room. So our guest today, he was on stage and he did a reading almost. It was almost like poetry in a weird way. But I immediately reached out to him and was like, I would love to have you on the podcast and kind of talk about what you read. Once again, he's such an icon in the industry. Today, our guest is a true hair legend. It's Van Council. Van, I mess your last name up for whatever reason. That Council, like it tongue ties me a little bit. He's the founder of Michael Salon in Atlanta. Van spent the last 40 years not just running a salon but shaping the industry in itself, and he's got long industry arms as well. In this episode, we're going to dive into 40 things I've learned and experienced in 40 years of owning a salon. I mean, you talk about like a wealth of knowledge in like one podcast. I think this is the one here. Van read this again. He read it live at Serious Business in New Orleans, and he's going to share some insights, some challenges, and some victories that he's had along the way. And these are lessons that every salon owner or even wannabe salon owner should definitely take a listen to, because you can't find 40 years of you can't find 40 years of experience with this. But Van, welcome to the show, man.
Hey Corey, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for
Good.
making time for me, and thanks for blowing me away up there on the stage.
I think it's an honor to be able to be on your show, and I want to start off by saying happy birthday to you today.
Oh, thank you so much. We're recording this on my 56th birthday. Yes, I made it to 56 or 55 plus. It's weird to say that I'm closer to 60 than 50, but I guess today's that day, Van.
Yeah, no, hey, you're in my book. You're still a young man, so you're doing good.
I appreciate that, man. Van, where are you from?
I'm actually from Georgia. I'm sure you can hear the accent.
So,
Yeah.
and how'd you find the industry?
Well, it's kind of a cheesy story, and but I was in high school in 1975, and I went and saw the movie Shampoo. So it was history from there. I sat there and watched the movie, and I left and said, I'm going to be a hairdresser. So I found the worst beauty school I could find in Atlanta, and I went to it, and I got out. I was out of beauty school in 1976, and I grew up just north of Atlanta, so I went to school in Atlanta. So I got out, and I just stayed in Atlanta, and it's been 49 years ago I got out of school, and this would be my 41st year of owning my business.
That's amazing. I want to get into one thing, and that's like Atlanta. Like, what's up with all these like amazing salon owners there? I mean, between Van Michaels, between Candy Shaw and Daniel Mason Jones and Jacob Kahn. I mean, those are just a few, but like Atlanta's like this hotbed of like these great salon owners.
Yeah, it always has been. I mean, we've had Scott Cole,
Oh yeah.
Sassoon, Tony and Guy, but it's like I work for Scott, so people, when you have like Minneapolis, like Horse, there's a lot of good salons. People leave you and they open up a salon and they duplicate what they learn from you. So if you got a kind of a big couple big salons that's training people very well, you're going to end up having a very competitive city, which is good. It keeps us all on our toes. I like having Candy and all of those guys in town. You know what I mean? Because I know that I've got to be always continuously improving and learning, to keep up or to stay ahead. So I like the competition. Even though we all have these great salons in Atlanta, we're all friends. You know what I mean? We all work together. We meet together. We call each other and trade ideas and share. And so it's really a good community to be in.
That's amazing. How many Van Michael salons are there in Atlanta?
We have 8 salons. We have one med spa, and we're in the process. I can't say who, where, what, but we're in the process of buying a cosmetology school.
Oh, that's amazing. How many
Yeah, so
how many chairs do you have there in Atlanta?
I have about 250 chairs in Atlanta,
Wow.
and we also I have a license agreement in Japan where I have 40 salons. So I've had those for like 21, 22 years there. So we have 400 employees in Atlanta, and there's about 700 in Japan.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, actually, again, just to do dumb math there. So you have 400 employees out of 200 chairs. So your support staff is almost 1 to 1.
You know what? That's exactly right. Yeah, we are. You know, uh, we have new talents. We have interns. We have house cleaners. We have front desk. We have a corporate office with 22 people in there. So a recruiting team. So it is pretty much 1 to 1.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing, because I remember working in a salon and we had like a pretty big support staff, and I remember there ended up being a little contention there too, because the hairstylist would be like, oh, we're bringing in all this money and you're just blowing it on support staff or whatever, or on people that, this was not my opinion, let me be clear, but you certainly hear the stuff about it, but that you're blowing all this money on people that don't bring in money or don't generate money. So
Well,
go ahead.
it definitely makes for some tight margins, but at the same time, our top employee last year, last night we had a big dinner last night. I take the top 20 producers to a dinner, the first of the year of last year, and we did that last night. And our top producer brought in 520,000 last year, and so her W-2 was 218,000, and then she told me she made 98,000 in tips. So the volume they're doing, the numbers they're charging. I mean, everybody there was 200 plus on haircut prices. So yeah, you got to have support staff. You got to have that level of service, to stay busy. We did out of the 8 salons last year, we did like 33 million, in volume. So and we're always training. People do leave for all kind of reasons. We don't have a lot of turnover. We have in Atlanta, we have 130 stylists who've been there for over 10 years. We
Wow.
have like 30 people with 20 and about 20 with 30, and we still got like 3 people with 40 years. So people stay, so it's part of the whole system, the training. But yeah, I could have bigger margins if I wanted to cut back, but to keep the culture, to keep growing, I need the senior people to train the younger people. Everybody still goes through a 2-year training program in the company before they go on the floor, so yeah, we do have a big support staff.
Oh, that's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, though. I mean, just I applaud you. Bravo for being able to create a culture like that. And it's easy to create culture when you have 10 stations. It's hard when you've scaled it the way that you have. That's
Yeah,
extraordinary.
no, it is hard, but we work very hard on it. A lot of meetings, a lot of company meetings, a lot of trainings, and yeah, we don't grow to the point that we lose our culture. That's why we have, I say only, but we only have 8 salons. After 40 years, some people you could have twice as many, but I know I can't get it watered down.
Right. That's amazing. All right, man. Well, I think that's enough, man.
Yeah.
Let's get into your list, and let's put us back on stage in New Orleans.
All right, so you want me to do the whole 40?
Yeah, man. I think we go through. Yeah, I think we go through it, and we'll just kind of like take a step. We'll just like stop where we need to. But so once again, it's 40 things I've learned, 40 things
Yeah.
Van's learned and experienced in 40 years of owning a salon. So yeah, Van, let's get into it.
All right. Well, the first one I said be an Aveda salon because the day that I opened up 40 years ago, I was Aveda the very first day. So be a Aveda salon. The next one I said never say that you're a small business. Say that you're a growing business. Always from the very we opened up with just 7 chairs. It was me and my brother, and my wife, and one assistant. And I always looked at it. I knew that we were going to grow. You know what I mean? So the next I said the experience is more important than the haircut. That says it all. I do believe that clients don't know the difference, between good and great, but they know the difference between good and bad, so it's all about the experience. I said only take out of the company what you need to live on, keep investing in the company, which I'm still doing. I don't I try to explain to you, got 3 identities. You got the staff, they got to make money. The owner's got to make money, but also the salon's got to make money, So I call the salon the mother. So I always say, don't rape the mother. You got to pour the money back into it all the time, all the time. You're only as good as the systems provide. There's not a such thing as bad people, just bad systems. So if somebody's not being successful in a certain area, it's probably the system that they're in. So you got to look at your systems. Like how do you greet people at the front door? How do you answer the phone? How do you check people out? How do you do consultations? You just have all these systems in the salon that you got to focus and concentrate on. Improving all the time. I'm number
And
six.
with that though, how do you have these systems, and especially the ones that you brought up, and not feel like a robot?
It's not. I don't think it's being a robot. Because once like the client gets into the chair, with the consultation, the stress relieving. I mean, it becomes one on one. But you got to have systems to have consistency,
Yeah.
to have quality. Have control of your business. You have to have systems. I mean, systems is very very important. To have really strong systems, and we constantly every year we go back and look at all these systems. How can improve on them? Because sometimes we got systems that's not working, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, you got to have systems. That's how you you train people, but I don't look at it as robots. It'd be like saying Vidal Sassoon has a cutting system, and most of the people who really work for Vidal Sassoon are great hair cutters, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree? Like art directors,
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's all a cutting system, right? You know what I mean? So I think systems is what creates quality.
Love it.
Uh, I say your employees come first, clients come second. So I always try to take care of my employees. Over if there's a dispute between a customer and a staff, I'm going to always take the staff side. I'd rather fire a customer than to fire an employee. For me, make recruiting from the school is your number one priority. Hairdressers, everywhere I go, salon owners, I should say, is always, how do you get help? How do you get help? Man, we work so hard on recruiting. I always say, if you were a head coach of University of Georgia, Alabama, or football coach of a big college, right? What's your number one job?
Yeah,
Recruiting.
yeah, you get.
Yeah, yeah, getting the best players, right? So we go. I have a team. I mean, we're somewhere every week. We go to Minneapolis, Cincinnati, Birmingham, Charlotte, Iowa, Colorado, Florida. I send a team out to go into the beauty schools and do demonstrations. So half of our staff or more, they move from all over the country to work for us. So,
Whoa,
yeah,
that's
we
huge.
have.
So many salons, they just stay certainly, with the hair salon across the street or down the street. That's amazing that you're recruiting from across the country. I mean, what a game changer as far as whatever. That's incredible.
Yeah, when people pack up and move, 1,000 miles away, they're kind of serious about their career. Yeah, we like I said, we give them a relocation fee. I just think it's very important that people. When I was in beauty school, when I went to beauty school, I'd never even heard of Vidal Sassoon in 1976. Right? I
Mhm.
mean, these kids don't know who you are. You have to go in and tell them who you are, and show them the career path, what they could do, earn, what it takes to stay into the industry. So, yeah, we take recruiting very seriously. I mean, just full on recruiting all the time. We're up to about last year we had about 350 applications and we hired 30 people.
Mm.
So that's kind of the ratio that we hire about 10% of the people apply, but we're looking for the best people, what we call tens. So that's I think people should take recruiting more seriously. I always say hire people who has the strength and skills that you don't. So I'm definitely not nowhere near the smartest person in my company or my office, so I got a good accountant, good general manager. I mean, yeah, so hire smart people, be around you. I always say it's not about you, it's about them. And that's when you're working behind the chair. That's the 7 words. I go, if you can remember these 7 words, you're going to be busy. Don't stand behind the chair and talk about yourself. Make sure you're talking about them, right? It's not about you, it's about them.
Mm.
What you give is what you will receive. Number 11, I got never believe you created the company all by yourself. Because none of us can be successful all alone. You're better with a good team, have a good people behind you to inspire you. I wasn't even the best hairdresser in my shop. I wouldn't even want to be the best hairdresser in my salon. I like having people to push me. Celebrate and recognize team members and for their hard work and accomplishment. Like I said,
Mm.
we had a top dinner last night, so we do a lot of celebrating. Lead by example. Never ask someone to do something you wouldn't. So I mean, I don't expect my staff to work hard if I don't. So they see me. I still walk around. I visit all the salons. I don't mind doing a shampoo for someone. I don't mind sweeping the floor. I'm there. If we're doing shows, I'm one of the last ones to leave the back room when the party's over. Picking
Yeah.
up, cleaning. So I always say, he who trains best wins. So, better you train your staff, the more successful your company's going to be. I'd say God puts people in your life for a reason and removes them for a better reason. So, people will come and go. And sometimes you have really important people in your company or in your life. You feel like if they leave, things are going to fall apart, but it's not the way it is at all. It just makes room for somebody else to rise up. Don't stress over the right decision. Just make the decision right. So
Mm. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's get into that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, don't stress over the right decision. Sometimes you got to make a decision. When you make it, no matter if it's right or wrong, you've made it. So now make it happen. Make it happen. I mean, make that's the decision you made. Don't look back. Don't regret. Don't think about what it would have been if you decide the other way. So just make the decision right. Once you make up your mind, so I just usually weigh out pros and cons on something. When I decide which way to go, I'm not thinking about it anymore.
That's
You know,
good. I heard I probably saw a meme or something, but it said that the most successful people make quick decisions, and then
yeah.
just move through those decisions. So bravo, that's great.
But one year at Serious Business is one of the last ones, not last year, but one before. Maybe it was a girl that her last name was Robbins. She wrote a book, The 5 Second
Oh,
Rule.
Mel Robbins.
Yeah, Mel Robbins was at Serious Business. And yeah, she wrote the book. So I read the book about, making those decisions in 5 seconds. So it's not always easy, but it's got a good point, So anyhow, I always say you can only expect what you inspect, So if you're not checking up on the systems, on people what they're doing, then you can't expect much, right? If you're not inspecting, you can't expect anything.
That's
Never compromise your vision because of fear. I mean, sometimes you make decisions based on the vision and people get nervous. Oh, well, people are going to quit if I do this. You can't do that. You got to, I know what I want. Like we're still specialization. Everybody, we either cut or color. And, people say, oh, you need to, the students don't want to do that. It's hard to find people who want to do that. But, I'm a firm believer in specialization. I stick to it. There's not many salons in the country, that does it, and a lot of them are getting away from it. But that's something I believe in. So if it's your vision, stick to it. Don't.
Do you give yourself grace though to kind of like to switch visions, like you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't
So
serving anymore?
yeah, and I've done that. But the first 7 years we were open, we were generalists. We were all generalists, and I decided after being open for 7 years to switch division, right? But what I do there, I have a saying is create the new, manage the old while you create the new.
Yeah.
So I didn't go into everybody and say, hey, we probably had 50 employees at the time, right? I didn't go in there and say, hey, you got to pick one or the other. I said, hey, this is where we're going. You guys are grandfathered in, but from this day on, when we hire people, they're going to choose one or the other. And over a course of time, I told you we had like 4 people with 40 years. They still do both. they're still the O system. Simpson too, they're booked all the time. They're booked out 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance, and they never make the top 20. They
Wow.
can't compete with the people who do specialization because like they're not, they're good, but they don't get $250 a haircut.
Right.
They never got that good of a cutter. They don't get the $350, $400 for a full head of foils because they stayed average.
Yeah.
But people who specialize can demand the higher prices. But anyhow, but yeah, sometimes I switch vision. I just manage Yo while I create the new. We got about 10 different pay scales. This one, we changed it, we changed it, we changed it, but I don't go in and tell everybody everything's different. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, sometimes I do, you have to adapt to the times. Like there was a time where everybody's going to work 5 days a week and on Saturdays, right? For 20 years, I didn't bend on that. Shit, now nobody works on Saturdays. you know?
But have you
Yeah.
noticed too? And I don't know if it's because I've been in the industry for 30 years or not, but like Saturdays are no longer the demand that they once were. I don't know if it's because my clients are older and they have more flexibility at work, or if just society's changed and there's not that. I mean, 30 years ago, man, like I'd be
Yeah.
booked up Saturdays for 6 months and then I couldn't fill a Wednesday morning or a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah. No, the society's changed, the world's changed. I mean, people have more flexibilities in their job. They work from home. They don't even have to go to their office. So yeah, I think they can come on Wednesday morning instead of Saturday. Used to, like you said, there was people who could only come on Saturdays because they worked all week. It's not really the case anymore. But I think Saturdays would still be very busy if you had people working.
I don't know. I
The
work
one-
every Saturday. The other thing too, and again, I think this is an age thing, is that a lot of my clients, like their kids now have activities on Saturday, so it's no longer the priority to get in either. So, but
yeah.
anyway, just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I said, things do change, right? Now you can. once you go through your 2-year training, you can work 3, 4, 5 days a week. You get to choose, right? I wouldn't have done that 10 years ago. There'd be no way I would do that. And they can be off Saturdays right from the get go. You know, I mean, it's just like, it's just a different time. But
Are you
yeah,
open 7 days a week?
not a couple locations are. We're in some of these fancy lifestyle centers. They require you to be open 7 days a week. So we have skeleton crews on Sundays,
Right.
and Monday's training day. So we, it's all day. All the training happens on Monday.
That's
So
literally why we call the podcast Your Day Off, because we release it on Mondays for that reason.
yeah, no, absolutely, it's good. I always say number 19, there's a price to pay for success. You can't cheat the grind. You know what I mean? Like anybody who's very successful in any business, they've worked hard. Yeah, you got to work smart, but you still got to work hard.
Yeah.
It's funny. On Instagram, all these reels on YouTube, they're always slamming the 9 to 5 jobs. Sometimes that sounds pretty good to me to have a 9 to 5 job.
Amen.
I would love to leave at 5 o'clock and not have another call or nothing to think about. But anyhow, can't cheat the grind. I always say the reason I work hard because I don't want to be average. I said nobody pays for average. You ever went to a restaurant that was just okay?
Yeah.
And when you left, did you tell your friends, hey, I went to this new restaurant down the street. It's just okay. You should try it. You know what I mean? So don't want to be average, so I got to work hard.
And even on that, what's really is when it's average, but it doesn't cost average.
Yeah,
but when
right.
you paid a dime for it and you're like, oh, that wasn't worth it at all, man.
Absolutely. 100%.
It kind of makes it taste a little bit worse, to be honest.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than paying for an expensive meal and it not being good. I mean, it's like nothing worse. Same thing if somebody comes to the salon and pays $200 for a haircut. It better be a damn good haircut, a very good experience, or they're going to hate it, right? So
sure.
The next one I always say is I'd rather be tired than poor, so hey, I work a lot, but I don't want to be poor.
Yeah.
I grew up that way and got poor again one time. Some bad investments, got to start all over at 40. So yeah, I say set boundaries with people who drain your energy. You always you put a lot of focus into the employees who, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, unfortunately. So you have to be careful, to not let them drain you. I always say, learn to say no. I always say, don't confuse weakness with kindness. A lot of times we say yes to stuff we don't want to because we're too weak to say no. We think we're being nice, but the truth is we're really being weak. So constantly when people ask me to do stuff, if I don't want to do it, I remind myself, all right, am I being nice or I'm being weak? Am I going to say no and walk away and go, shit, why did I say yes to that? Right? You ever done that?
Oh yeah, actually, I have a thing for that, and Van, and it's if I don't want to do it tomorrow, I don't want to do it in 6 months. So I kind of run it through that filter. But if it's something that I'm excited about tomorrow, then I'll be excited about it in 6 months. But if I'm not, then I'm not.
I like that. That's a very good way to look at it. I got be kind always and don't judge. You never know what people are going through. You know what I mean? Like, if I walk through the salon and somebody's not look like they're having a good day or friendly, if they're not friendly to me or rude, I try not to judge. I don't know what happened the night before or what's going on in their life.
But at what point do you have to manage that?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes a wise man once said nothing. Sometimes you just don't say anything. I always say there's always more to the story, and this, I threw some funny ones in because this is true. I said, eventually you will find someone's cocaine in the bathroom. We've had that more than once. That's probably
that was my career for the early '90s. There when I first got in, it was the dressing rooms would always we occasionally would find a bag on the floor.
Yeah, I said the next one. I said eventually you find out somebody had sex in your bathroom. Probably the same person who left the cocaine. Especially in the 80s and 90s, it was, hairdressing was wild. It was even wilder in the 70s, actually. But I used to joke around. So the thing I hate most about hairdressing, it became professional, but it is now. But anyhow, they always said you can't make this shit up. I said you'll give a fuck and not give a fuck in the same day.
Yep.
We all go through. Hey, we're human. We have our own up and highs, right? Some days I'm like, should I just sell the business and move to Ecuador and kayak? But the next day I'm building a new salon and I'm all fired up to go, right? So
or a bunch of new schools.
Yeah, our new school. It says, I said, don't take everything so seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself because a lot of think about all the stuff you stressed out over in your life or took things so serious and so personal. It doesn't even matter a year later or 10 years later. Oh, you can't even remember it.
No.
What I mean? So I try. Yeah, that's just one thing about being in the business so long. I know people come and go and this and that, and I do the best I can. I treat people absolutely the best I can, and if it's not good enough, it's okay. They can go do whatever they need to do, right? You know what I mean? I used to be like heartbroken over every single person that left, and not that I like it now, but it's not personal. You got to learn to let go of that. I say when you're in deep shit, shut up. That's what I said. A wise man once said nothing. Sometimes one person come to me with a story. They'll tell me their side. Another person come to me and they'll tell me their side. And I look at them. I go, you know what? You're both right. Sometimes you just don't even know.
Man, my quote on that is when you're in deep shit, stop digging.
Yeah, stop digging. I said it's healthy to be psycho every once in a while, but I said understand your finances better than anyone on your team. People don't mind spending your money, so you better learn. I didn't read a P&L the first 10 years I was open. I didn't even have a P&L, but as you get bigger, 1% means a lot of money on the bottom line. It means staying open or not staying open, so you got to really learn how to read the P&Ls. I have a monthly meeting with my accountants every month, and I'm still not the best person at that. It's one of my weaknesses. So they have to really idiot proof walking me through it, and making me understand all this. Sometimes I'm like, where's all the money? Right. Like, but, oh, you made a lot of money. I go, I did, I didn't get any, because how the numbers work. Right. So, I always say, make sure, clients notice the little things, I mean, I said clients do notice the little things. That's what makes and breaks a salon. How clean is it? How does people look? I mean, I'm still very strict on dress code. You want to charge $200 for a haircut, you better dress up and look good. Nice shoes, nice belt, nice clothes, clean brushes, clean mirrors. Like I'm really particular. We have full-time house cleaners in every salon. We get janitorial service every night. I want everything spotless, clean. If I'm going to spend that much money and all the salons are remodeled all the time, they all look great, so I want my staff looking good too, but we do stress relieving treatments on every client. We do hand treatments. We're really big on doing consultations using pictures, not just verbally. So we have a service wheel that with 11 steps that we want everybody to follow on every single client. You can't take, you can never take your clients for granted. As soon as you do, they're gone. Right. So I always say, embrace technology, invest in social media. I mean, I laugh sometimes. I go, man, all I ever wanted to do when I went to beauty school is learn how to cut a straight bob. Now we're signing leases, we're negotiating leases and bank loans, and we're trying to figure out social media, and we're doing everything but cutting bobs, right? I never did get that bob right either. I don't think.
No, same.
Uh, I always say, lead by example. Never stop growing. Never stop learning. What I mean, we got next month. I have Gianni Samaki. You know him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like so he's come in the last 2 years. He's coming in next month. I take my whole education team and we mark their books out for a week and they do a training with Gianni. We have a big company event. We got Antoinette Benders coming in just a couple of weeks after him to do a demonstration for a day. So I'm real big into always learning and growing and, bringing outside people in, to make sure we know what's going on. Right. I always say never quit, don't quit, never give up. I mean, how many times every salon owner, you want to throw the towel in every now and then, right? But you just got to push through, you know what I mean? And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I do believe that. Sometimes I say opportunity disguises itself as hard work. And the story I have for that one is I'd been open for about 2 years. It was like 86 and it was on a Saturday. I usually booked about 25 to 30 clients a day. And I was at the end of my day, and my wife comes to me and says, "There's a guy here." Because I had a rule when I'm doing clients, I don't talk to anyone, right? Nobody can bother me. I'm working 3 chairs at a time. And she goes, "I think you should stop and talk to this guy." So I stopped. He had a book. He's a photographer. He was in town. He was there to shoot with Scott Coe and Don Shaw, Jameson. And the modeling agency told him he should come talk to me. So he did. He come and I talked to him. He says he wanted to shoot with me. I'm like, "Well, how much do you charge?" He says, "Well, it'd be free." I'm like, "Well, shit, I can do free." But I said, "Well, I said, "When you want to do this?" He says, 9 o'clock in the morning. This is Saturday at 5 o'clock. And honestly, I said, yes. I had to call the modeling agencies after I finished my 25th haircut of the day. I had a model call. So I left the salon about 2 in the morning. I stayed and cut and colored 4 more, models' hair. I had to get a studio, rent a studio by the next morning. I had to get a clothing designer. I had to get a makeup artist. I had to get a caterer. I put all that shit together by 9 o'clock in the morning, and we did this shoot. And do you know Gary Lyons?
I don't know Gary.
Yeah, Gary's probably 80 now, but he was at one time, he was the salon, the hairdressing photographer. He shot for Trevor and
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he shot for everybody, right? So this was Gary Lyons. He comes in, I do this shoot. We became really tight. I shot with Gary probably for a good 10 years. And he had all these connections. That's when I started getting work printed and all the trade magazines. And I mean, Gary opened up a lot of doors. He got me the artistic director job as Joyco. So I go back to saying, sometimes opportunity disguises itself as hard work. Like there was an opportunity, but I could have said, "Man, I can't, there's no way I can make that happen." Right.
And we've all done that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've all been there, you know?
Yeah. We've all been there. So, sometimes it is. So I always say, if you want to make more money, charge more. I believe our industry is really undercharged for what we do. We're just now getting, to me, like after 40 years, the prices we should be getting.
Right.
I undercharged for so many years. I was booked out for 6 months out in advance and charging $50. One time, it was like Glamour magazine said the top 5 hairdressers in the country, and it said Frederick Fakai, $1,000 haircut. Henry Abel, somewhere in New York, $800. Named a couple more people, $600-700. It said band council, $50. So, I was like, shit. So yeah, I think we should need to charge more money. It makes a big difference on the bottom line. $20 more haircut at the end of the week, but put some numbers on the bottom line. And I just think we undercharge. I do. The industry whole. I mean, I think for every year you cut hair, you should be charging $10 for that. If you've been cutting hair for 10 years, you should be $100. If you've been cutting hair 20 years, you should be $200.
Wow.
Just think about if you start at zero and every year you only went up $10.
Yep.
That ain't nothing. People don't think nothing about $10. We
Nope.
screwed up for years. We'd have $3 increases, $5 increases. Now we increase 10 and $20, twice a year, right? So my top cutter is about 250 now that works for us, and he started off at $12.
Wow.
35 years ago.
Yeah, is that part of your system now? Does everybody get a $10 increase like at the first of the year?
Yeah, or twice a year if you're booked out. We look at spring and fall. If you're booked out more than 2 weeks in advance, you get a $10 increase. So if you get it in April, you can get it again in October if you're still booked out 4 weeks. Why not? If you got that many people waiting on you, you're undercharging.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't get paid 4 weeks in advance. You only get paid one day at a time.
Dude, I would
Well,
have all my clients pre-book in April and October.
Yeah. I mean, it's the way to do it, right? So anyhow, I always say be a purple cow. You know the purple cow story, right?
No, tell me.
So there's a book called The Purple Cow. I read it 20 years ago. But the purple cow, the short version is a family goes to France, mom, dad, and 2 kids. They land in Paris. They rent a car. They drive in the countryside, and they're looking. And there's all these green pastures and mountains with snow on it, and all these beautiful brown cows. Oh, look at all the beautiful brown cows. They get out and they take pictures of the brown cows. They drive 2 more hours, more mountains, more pastures, more brown cows. The brown cows become what? Boring. They drive another 2 hours. There's more brown cows. The brown cows become what? Invisible. Finally, they're driving. They look. They see a purple cow. They slam on their brakes and like, holy shit, a purple cow. And they get out. They take pictures of it. And when they go back to America, what do they tell people they saw? A
A
purple
purple
cow.
cow.
And do they ever forget the purple cow?
Never.
No. So that's what I tell my hairdressers. You got to be a purple cow because there's 10,000 hairdressers in Georgia or more, right? And they're all brown cows. So what's going to separate you? What are you doing that the person next door to you is not doing, right? I mean, because almost everybody's doing the same long graduation, the same consultation, the same blow dry. Why are they going to pay you $200 when somebody's down the street's doing it for 50?
Mm.
I see. So you got to be a purple cow. That when I opened up my business and I read this book, I'm like, I have insurance, I have 401k, I have education funds. Like I got to be a purple cow salon owner. Why can I send her and say you should come work for me? Right? Why I got to feel like I'm the best place to work in the city, if not in the country, if you're in this business.
Mm.
And why do I feel that way? But where else are you going to get all these benefits and this potential to be this busy this quick? If somebody comes in our company and they do exactly what we tell them to do, they will be earning $100,000 within 4 years. They can make $100,000 in 4 years
That's
if
amazing.
they do what we tell them to do, right? I mean, and most of them do because we pick the best people to work and we will let people go quickly if they don't want to do it, right? So, but we got to be a purple cow. We got to do something different than everybody else. So, and it's hard, because there's a lot of good hairdressers. There's a lot of good salons. So we're constantly trying to figure out what do we do to be a purple cow.
Mm.
And the last one, number 40 was I put every night, kneel down, thank God for your day. Even if it was a shitty day, be grateful for it.
That's it.
So yeah. It's funny though. I wrote those the day before on the plane, and I actually wrote 100 things on the plane, 100 sentences, and I went back and picked 40. So, but anyhow, but people seemed to like them, and it was fun doing it. So
That's awesome. I'm reading a book and they talk about being grateful and being thankful, and they said like even if you're not, even if there's nothing you can find to be grateful, you can be
yeah.
grateful for your feet because they carried you for the day, or you can be grateful for your hands because for us it's given us a career. So
Yeah.
because there are people that don't have access to their feet or to their hands, so
Oh,
you
absolutely.
have a hard
Blind.
time.
I mean, all kind of issues. I mean, we're not laying in bed getting chemotherapy so yeah, it always could be worse. Don't ever say things couldn't get worse because it fucking could.
Oh boy, could it? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but like I said, it's my 49th year. I still love the business. Honestly, I do. I love my staff, watching them grow. Like I was talking about Brandon went from $12 to 250. He used to be my assistant. You know what I mean? Like just to watch these kids come in, or young adults, I should say, and that you can help mold them and guide them and mentor them to end up making 200,000 a year with insurance and watching them buy houses and have kids. It's funny. I have now some of my older stylists, their children work for us.
Mm.
I mean, I remember when the kids were born. Well, my son, I was 40 when my son was born. I had quit cutting hair in the salon 25 years ago. And when he was born, and now he's been in the company 6 years. I just named him in January the CEO. So even my own son, my daughter, coming into the business. So that's why I like it. I just like helping people, watching people grow, and I still have plenty of time to do everything I want to do. I mountain bike, I whitewater kayak, I take vacations, but I'd be bored if I didn't work. I mean, I'm 2 years from 70, so what am I gonna, what am I gonna quit and do what?
Wouldn't do what
So
exactly?
yeah, quit and do what? I mean, I like what I do, so I'm lucky that I saw the movie Shampoo. I had no idea. I didn't even know a hairdresser. I had no idea what I was getting into, but I fell in love with doing hair, and when I got out of school, and I've just met all the coolest people, you know, in the industry across the country. We all know somebody in every city, right?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's just a great group of people that end up in the hairdressing business. It really is. We're
I,
all
I
crazy. we're all crazy a little bit. That's what makes it so good.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Do you ever go to any of the big hair shows like ABS or Premiere or anything?
I used to do all of those every year. In Beta used to participate. I did on my, but not too often. I am going to Chicago in April.
Oh, are
You
you?
know, yeah, I was lucky enough. Karen's giving me the Jerry Gordon Award, so I'm gonna go. That's on a Saturday, but I'm gonna stay for the weekend, walk around.
Oh,
I'll go to Premiere every couple of years. I might go down there, but I don't go to shows. I send my staff to shows. I still send people to London, to the one in the fall, Salon International, is it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I send them the stuff, but I don't so much myself. I mean, I did last year. I did 8 shows for Aveda myself on the road. We did Canada. I mean, Boston. Yeah, so I'm still out doing shows myself, and but I don't go like I used to. There was a time I didn't, for the first 10 years I did hair. If I had a day off, I went to a show or a class. I mean, I literally didn't take a vacation for 10 years. I went to Sassoons for about 15 straight years in London, take a week course to a 3-week course. I went to Clairol Color Schools in New York. I went to a braiding school in Boston, like Diego Messina. I took John Delaria classes. I mean, Tony and Guy classes. I mean, all I wanted to do is train and cut hair. And my brothers used to say I had hair on the brain. I'd cut hair all day, come home at night, watch a hair cutting video, and cut a mannequin after I did 20 haircuts at work.
Whoa, are you serious? Holy cow! I've
I
never,
did.
I've never been dedicated like that, Van.
I don't know. I love what I do. I love the business. I grew up in North Georgia, with no money. I always say I I thought we were poor, but after I grew up, I realized we really weren't because we had great parents and great family. We had food, we had balls. I played a lot of sports growing up. So we didn't have money, but we had a lot everything else. But yeah, I just hairdressing just opened up a whole different world. I didn't had never even flown on a plane when I got out of beauty school. So it just was a whole different world for me, and I'm very thankful that somehow God sent me to see this movie. Of course, I got into it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
If you saw Shampoo, but
Right.
anyhow, yeah, I knew I liked women, so I'm like, okay, I could do this all day long, work on beautiful women. So, yeah, it's been a great career.
That's amazing, man. I can't even like imagine how many people you've touched or how many people now talk I made a joke about like long arms in the industry, and just
Yeah,
with all the people that have come through your system, or through your salon, I can't imagine like how many people they've affected and how many what do those ripples look like, across the vast ocean of hairdressing. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
pretty cool. I actually got a text yesterday from a girl. I had to look her up on Facebook to remember, but I did. But big old long text, like a book, like thanking me for the time she worked there because now she's living in Colorado. She has her own salon, and she was just reflecting. If she hadn't worked for Von Michael, she wouldn't know all the stuff she knows. So it is nice when people send you those kind of messages out of the blue. So it makes you realize that is what we're here for, is to help people. And I'm serious when I say that. I do feel that way.
Yeah, that's amazing, and just to watch people grow and stuff. I remember when I worked for Reg, and we're watching all these people that we came in with, and then one by one they're first buying cars, and like there's so much
Yeah.
pride in like them just being able to buy a car, and then buying houses and having families and stuff, and just knowing that you were a big part of that, as an owner, or as a leader. That's pretty remarkable, pretty amazing.
Yeah, because you look, they still give these statistics, which I know it's not accurate, but the average hairdresser still makes what 30,000 a year. It says, right? And you got people making 5 times that much. So you're glad that you can provide a place that they can do their art, their craft, and their service to people and be paid well for it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, because you could be doing the same work in the wrong city in the wrong shop and be charging half the price and be just as good.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
no, definitely that, but it's
yeah.
also, it's also something though, Van, is that, part of your culture is that we want you guys to charge enough, I mean, for, like you were saying, I mean, for many, many years, I mean, I probably went, 5 or 6 years at a time, not raising my prices at all, so,
We
like,
did right.
to come up in your culture is like, no, this is the way we're going to do it. And you know, I would imagine that, you know, most, certainly most metropolitan areas could afford to do that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. When I go talk to students at beauty school, I tell them that I go, you got to think about how much you want to charge one day, right? Because if you move, if you get out of beauty school and you move back up to North Georgia or East Tennessee in some small town, even today, you're not going to get more than $30 or $35 a haircut.
Hmm.
But if you want to charge $1,000, you got to move to New York. If you want $600, you got to move to LA. You could get 200 in Atlanta or Dallas or some of those towns, right? But if you go outside of the metro area, you're lucky to get $50 for a haircut. You know,
Yeah.
I do research. There's still men, you know, men up in Rome, Georgia, still getting haircuts for $8 and $10. You know, it's crazy. But
I can,
yeah, I would tell them like, you know, pick where you want to figure out how much you want to charge one day. You got to go to work there and you got to stay. You know, 50% of all students are out of the industry in 1 year is the statistics. 50%. And it's only one reason, because they picked the wrong place to go to work. I tell them you got to find a place that's going to train you. Plus, they're going to give you clients. You know, like we have such an overflow of people calling. Like last year we did in the 8 salons, we did 21, it was 21,000 new clients.
whoa.
Yeah, it's insane, right? We put people on the floor and they're instantly busy. They don't even have to do anything to have a clientele, but keep them, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, if you go to work in the wrong place and you don't get trained it's going to take you 5 years or longer to get busy. And then you're not going to be good enough to charge anything without good training, you know, if all you've got is beauty school. That's why they drop out. You know, like 80% of all students are out in 5 years, which is sad, only because they're going to work in the wrong place, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I
Yeah,
mean, there's probably just not enough good places to around. You know what I mean? I definitely, and I think I can live by this. You know, like so many salon owners, you know, become salon owners because they want to be a salon owner, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're great leaders, or that doesn't mean that that they should be salon owners. You know, they're just
yeah.
hairdressers, and you know, the only criteria seems to be like, well, I can build a book for myself. You know, is the criteria to become a salon owner, and I wish that more salon owner, generally speaking, there's obviously like all stars across the country, but you know, generally speaking, I wish that they would invest as much in leadership and how to raise people and how to raise your business. You know, I wish that there was more than that. I kind of think that that might be the single biggest hole in the industry is just like not enough great leaders in the industry.
I tell you what, I think I've been open about 5 years. I read the book, The E Myth. Did you ever read that? You familiar with the book?
Yeah, no, no, for sure. Yeah, 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 the E Myth.
Yeah, you know, and that made a big impact on me. That book, you know, it says you have a job. How was it? It was three things: you have a job, or you own a job, you know, or you own a
Bravo,
business. You
G.
know? Yeah, because like you know, most salon owners, their goal is to get enough of people working for them that they just keep what they bring in. You know, they're not ever looking at it as a business they can step away from and make a living by not being, you know, doing the production themselves. So, you know, that book kind of made me realize, because I was doing that for the first 5 years, right? If I wasn't in there cutting hair, there was no money profiting, you know, because I had everything out of whack. You know, it's like it was gonna, if I continued on doing that, it was going to be that way forever, right? The way I was paying, I was doing everything wrong, honestly, and I had to just look at everything and really the way I studied hair my first 15 years after, you know, after that 15 years, I started studying business and leadership just as hard as I studied hair for the 15 years.
Right.
You know, I had to shift what I was learning, you know, because I didn't know shit about owning a business. I mean, honestly, I was just lucky. I, I, I found this little space I wanted, and it was 700 square feet. And I built the salon myself, me and my brother. You know, my younger brother is Michael, and we built the salon at nighttime. You know, we did all the work ourselves. We opened up, but the landlord gave me a 2-page lease and didn't ask for any financials, and I signed it. I didn't. I didn't even have a checkbook. Seriously, you know, it's like my parents loaned me $30,000. It's their life savings, and that's what I opened the salon on. Now the front desk costs 50,000. You know, it's a different day and time, right? But Yeah, I didn't know anything, but after 5 years, I realized, man, I've got to learn how to read P&Ls and budgets and balance and leadership. And, that's when we added in, started doing insurance for the staff and 401k. Cause I'm like, what if people work here 20 years? What are they going to do? Leave and not have anything?
Right.
We have 3 employees right now. They've been there 40 years. And they all have over $1 million in their 401k, when they walk out.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah, would they had that working somewhere without a 401k? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not, but probably not.
Probably not. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't
because
in the
we
back room.
for every dollar they put in up to 6%, we match a quarter, so that's why they're like, should I get in the 401k? I go, if you hand me $1 and I hand you back $1.25, you think that's a good deal? They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, you should get in. I mean, how can you lose, right? And then, of course, the market's like this, but overall, if you get in, as you know, over
Yeah,
10, 20 years, you're going to be double, tripled your money,
that's amazing.
so, yeah,
I mean, think about that for just a sec, Van. Like you've created millionaires. You know,
yeah,
how many salon owners can say that? Like you've created millionaires that, that are, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but are just employees, right? Like
yeah,
just employees, and you've created millionaires. That's extraordinary. I mean,
yeah,
certainly when you and I were coming up, it was something to be a millionaire. I mean, now there's like billionaires there's a million billionaires now. You know what I mean? But you know,
yeah,
millionaires is something, man. And that's amazing. And just even the buying power that they have now, just
yeah.
having 401k and having
Oh,
that money to fall on or to use kind of as not as direct collateral, but as indirect collateral. You know,
yeah. We every quarter we give financial classes. They come to, they can attend. We bring in the 401k people. They get to sit down each person with these people and decide how aggressive they want to be.
yeah,
But we talk to them. We got people now like they bought property, condos in Costa Rica. We have staff that own second homes that they do Airbnb and rent out. So we talk to them about how to invest their money. I mean, nobody really gets rich off of the money you're earning from your business, but it's where you investing your money is what's going to make you rich.
that's
Putting that
amazing.
money to work. You work hard to make money, but then you got to invest that money. And we talked to them about trying to live below your means a little bit. So yeah, it's not all about doing hair. I mean, hair is just one part of it, but it's a lot bigger than that.
That's amazing. Van, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for giving me the time. Obviously, as everyone can hear, you're a super busy guy, so I appreciate the time that you gave, and I can't wait for people to hear this, man. I can't wait to cut it
Yeah.
up and put it into some clips and stuff. And I really hope to see you on the road. We're going to be up at ABS, so I want to make a point of hanging out or seeing you, or at least saying
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there all weekend. Yeah, reach out to me, and you should think about coming to the Aveda Congress in August if you like good hair shows and good events like Serious Business. You should come to Minneapolis to the Congress show in August. So it's a great show to go to. A lot of good speakers.
that's you know what I might definitely look into that.
Yeah,
Is Deborah Neal's involved in that as well?
she's not. She'll be there, but she's not involved. This is the Aveda Corporation in
I
Minneapolis.
got you.
Put on the big. Every other year, we do what we call Congress.
Yeah.
They bring guest artists in from all over the world. It's a 2-3 day event. A lot of motivational speakers in between the hairdressers, and it's a great event. So you should come check it out.
You know what? I'm definitely going to put that on the list. I am, to be honest, for the first time ever, I'm taking the full month of July off this year. The
Oh,
first,
good.
yeah, the first 2 weeks or the first 18 days, I'm going to be in Cambodia. I'm doing a project called Hair Aid. Are you familiar with Hair Aid?
Uh, a little bit familiar. A little bit. I am.
So I'm doing Hair Aid in Cambodia, and what it is for about 6 or 7 days of the time that I'm there, I'll be training former and current sex workers how to cut hair. I'm just kind of
Wow.
give them, just to, again, not to be hyperbolic, but just hopefully their future has different options,
Yeah,
for them, or has options, I should say, to do that. So I'm going to be in Cambodia, and then
that's fantastic.
coincidentally it overlaps with our family vacation, so I'll be
Yeah,
then going from Cambodia to our family vacation.
good
So
for you.
taking the whole month of July off. So I don't know what fall travel is going to look like, but I'm definitely going to look into. I'm definitely interested in it.
Yeah.
That could be really that could be really cool.
All right. So it's definitely probably one of the most high end events in the industry. When they have it. So, well, man, have a great vacation, and hopefully I'll see you in Chicago.
Absolutely. Van, thank you. Thanks for your
All
time. And thank you very, very much for joining us on your day off.
right. Thank you, sir. Have a great day,
Thank you, brother.
everyone.